Back here in Anaheim, Albert Pujols, 582 career home runs, just needs one more to tie Mark McGwire for 10th on the all-time list. And Mike Trout, what more can you say about that guy? Welcome inside, or I should say outside, the Big A in Anaheim. Ryan Field, Dontrell Willis, Frank Thomas here for Friday Night of Baseball on FS1. The Angels looking for their first win against the Yankees this season. New York, a perfect 4-0 against LA. And Hurt, what are you looking forward to in this game tonight?
I think we're all looking at the Baby Bombers. Let's see what they're going to bring to the Big A. Also, you got to watch Didi and Starlin Castro up the middle, because I think all 5 of these kids are going to be very, very positive for the Yankees' near future.
And for me, I'm watching Tanaka. He's been hard on the halos so far. 14 strikeouts in his 13 innings. Should be a fun matchup against him and Trout. Trout's 1 for 5 with 2 Ks off him, so I'm really eager to get upstairs in that AC and see this matchup tonight, baby.
Eric Karros, Aaron Goldsmith along for first pitch here in just a few as we get you set for a big Friday Night of Baseball here on FS1. And you talk about the Baby Bombers. This guy, a big part of that. Aaron Judge, 7 hits, 2 home runs in his first 5 games as a Yankee. First pitch coming your way now.
Exactly what you would expect. A gorgeous night here from Orange County as the Yankees travel to Anaheim to take on Mike Trout, always an MVP candidate. And this Yankees lineup looking a lot different. Aaron Judge, one of the many young Yankees suddenly donning pinstripes or road grays as they come all the way out west to take on the Angels. Good evening and welcome inside Angel Stadium. So glad as always you can join us. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Eric Karros. The Yankees for the 2nd straight season hunting a wild card spot. They just said goodbye to Alex Rodriguez exactly 1 week ago tonight. Meanwhile, for the Angels of Anaheim, Mike Scioscia, well, this has been a team that has been littered by injuries, especially in the rotation. But Eric, he does own claim to one thing. Well, he's got the best player in the game on his side.
There is one constant here with the Angels, and that's Mike Trout. 4 years in a row, he's finished in the top 2 in the MVP voting. Of course, winning it in 2014. This year, he's done nothing to disappoint. 23 home runs, 77 RBIs, and he's running again this year. Already 20 stolen bases. This man holds 4 Silver Sluggers. He's doing it at the plate. He's doing it out there on defense. Again, showing everybody why he is the best player in baseball. You take a look at what he's done so far this year and where those numbers rank. First in on-base percentage. Most impressive for me, first in walks, first in WAR. Again, this guy having an MVP-type season.
Well, as much of an impact player as this game has right now. Meanwhile, for the Yankees, we mentioned a lot of youth all of a sudden for Joe Girardi. And Gary Sanchez is a beast of a young man, and tonight he's hitting third for the Yankees.
Yeah, he really is. And again, you mentioned he's hitting in that third spot. He was signed out of the Dominican Republic a few years ago. Much heralded hitter. He's turned himself into a fine catcher. The hitting so far, 5 home runs already this year. Hitting at 360. He's already thrown 3 out of 5 base stealers. This guy is somebody that the Yankee fans can be very excited about. He'll be around for a long time.
There's no question about that as we take a look right now at the wild card standings, as the Yankees, well, right now 6 games outside of the Orioles, who are in a wild game right now against the Houston Astros. But Boston and Baltimore in the East, there are 3 teams in the East right now that could be beating themselves up, with the Blue Jays included, down the final stretch of the season. But Joe Girardi, as his Yankees lost in the wild card game last year behind Dallas Keuchel and the Astros, trying to get back there once again this season with a little ground to make up, as Mike Trout and the Halos are taking the field here inside the Big A, as this 3-game weekend series between the Angels and the Yankees moments away from first pitch. Jared Weaver, the veteran, a free agent after this season, now 33 years old, from Northridge, California, just about 50 miles north here of Angel Stadium, takes the mound for his 24th start of the season here tonight. We'll take a look at Joe Girardi's Yankees starting lineup as usual. Jacoby Ellsbury leading things off. How about the power surge this year for Didi Gregorius? 16 home runs for the Yankees shortstop. We just talked about Gary Sanchez. Brian McCann will DH. Starling Castro, who has, well, he's had a lot of home runs so far this year, 15 in fact. He's followed by Judge and then Aaron Hicks in his first season in the Bronx. Tyler Austin, 3 for 12 in his young major league career. And then Ronald Torres, the third baseman, batting 9th for Joe Girardi here tonight for game 1. Jared Weaver continues to pitch with a declining fastball, DK, and we have seen spurts this year where he's been able to get it done with it.
Well, one thing we know he's going to be competitive. Now, if that translates into 5 innings, 7 innings, it just varies. Now, this is a guy that, as you mentioned, doesn't have the fastball anymore, but he pitches with a lot of deception. Early on in his career, that deception was 91, 92. Now, we're in the low 80s. It'll be interesting to see how he attacks this power-laden Yankee lineup.
Let's take a look at the defense behind him. There are a number of names in this Angels lineup on a nightly basis these days that aren't quite household names. Jeff Bandy, the new catcher behind the dish these days for the Angels, getting an extended chance to show Mike Scioscia what he can do. Trout, of course, in center field. Calhoun winning the Gold Glove last year in right field. Mike Scioscia now in his 17th season as the Halo skipper, and this has been a year that has, well, not been easy for any major league manager.
No, it's been tough, but you look at what he's had to deal with, especially his ball club. You know, the pitching staff decimated with injuries. They've had to try to fill roles, and I'm talking about a pitching staff, not only the starting part of the rotation, but you're talking about the back end, the bullpen. That's why they're where they're at right now.
Losing 4 of 5 starters. Their 8th inning man, of course, Houston Street, their closer on the disabled list. It's been a tough season for baseball fans here in Anaheim. Jacoby Ellsbury all set to lead things off, coming off a rough 2 for 20 homestand. Joe Girardi gave him Wednesday off, so Ellsbury rested after 48 hours off the field. Yankees spending an off day here in Orange County after traveling from New York, and we're underway with ball 1 to Ellsbury. Yankees coming off a 3-3 homestand. Most recently a series loss to the Blue Jays, first place team of the East.
The Yankees winning that first game of the series 1-0 against Toronto, but just could not do anything in the next 2 ball games. This is a team that Joe Girardi still says, hey, we're shooting for the playoffs. We've got a run in us, and we've got a chance.
This is clobbered a mile high out towards Calhoun in right field. Calhoun out of room, and right away the Yankees are on the board. Ellsbury's 5th of the season makes it a 1-0 Yankees lead.
Well, we talked about it when we were describing what Weaver would have to do against his Yankee ball club. And how would he navigate without powerful stuff against a lineup that can hit some home runs, especially as of late. You see what happens, the very first hitter. Again, you're going to have to trick hitters when you've got the kind of stuff that Weaver is taking out to the mound right now. Not going to overpower you at all.
Gregorius swinging through the first pitch. For Ellsbury, his first home run since the final game before the All-Star break. Soft pop-up, the shift is on as Simmons comes over, but it's Escobar, the third baseman, to take care of it. 1 out. Now Weaver's been hit around a little bit lately. His last 3 starts, only 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, but 11 more hits than innings pitched his last 3 times out. And here is Gary Sanchez, the man we were just talking about a few moments ago. They have the shift down for Sanchez.
Well, and you see the numbers, 360. This is actually his second stint. He was called up earlier in the year for 1 game. It was against the White Sox, had to face Chris Sale.
Soft landing.
Promptly an 0 for 4. But anyhow, since he's returned, handled the bat extremely well, shown some patience. And I think what Yankee fans, Yankee brass, are most excited about, there's a level of maturity.
Weaver gets ahead 1-2. Now for Sanchez, a 4-game hitting streak entering tonight, but the numbers are even better than that if you just zoom out a little bit. 13 hits his last 7 games with 5 home runs. All 5 that he's hit this year. Weaver's 1-2.
We've wanted that pitch right there. Right at the knees, like a fastball down the middle. And again, when you don't have the overpowering stuff, you like to get a little help from the umpire. Pitch was a good one right at the knees.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Sanchez batting third for the first time in his young major league career, and from what we have seen from Joe Girardi, Eric, he has not been afraid to put these young Yankees hitters in critical spots of the lineup.
Well, again, you've got a month and a half left of the season, and you are still playing for the postseason. So this is a great opportunity for these youngsters to gain experience.
The opposite way, Calhoun charges, but on a hop. So Sanchez, who just a couple of pitches ago looked like he might have struck out, looking instead with 1-out singles into right field.
Well, nice job. He fouled off a breaking pitch away, and then he gets that pitch, drives it to right center. Just going with it. Again, for a young hitter, this pitch gets a bit more of the plate than Weaver probably wanted, but Sanchez does a nice job not trying to kill it, has 2 strikes, battles, and gets a base hit to right.
And brings in Brian McCann DHing, cleaning up tonight for the Yankees. Been a struggle lately for McCann, batting well beneath 200 his last 25 games.
It'll be tough too, because you want to get opportunities for Gary Sanchez behind the plate. Brian McCann has been the catcher for most of the season. He's the guy. 15 home runs, a nice year so far, but he's not hitting the way they would have liked. You know, is it Sanchez's job now? That remains to be seen.
Now for McCann in his career, 9 seasons of 20 home runs, and in terms of where that ranks with the greatest catchers of all time, he is right up there with the elite of the elite. 1 out, 1 on. A run already in for the Yankees on Ellsbury's leadoff homer. Sanchez is single into right field at first base. There he goes. Throw down to second base, and Sanchez is in with plenty of time to spare. His first career big league steal and his first ever attempt.
Well, he was leaning, and again he picks a pitch with Weaver's throwing off speed. Jet Bandy doesn't have any type of chance. And you have to think that Sanchez isn't getting the steal sign. That's something that Joe Girardi probably says, look, if you can take the base, go ahead. And for a young player to have that kind of fortitude to just get up and go speaks volumes of his makeup. Just fearless out there. When you're out there, you're thinking, should I go? Should I go if I get thrown out? And you have that indecision. No indecision there by Sanchez.
Now runner in scoring position for McCann. Because EK, even once you make your major league debut, there's still got to be some nerves left over, right?
There's nerves for the first couple of years. You're just trying to prove that you belong.
Trout over into the gap. He'll handle this himself. Sanchez trying to take third. Trout's throw. The tag by Escobar, and he's safe. Not an easy man to run on.
Now it's going to be interesting too, because Sanchez didn't look like he slid directly into the bag. It almost looked like he slid a bit to the right of the bag. So you wonder if he actually touched the bag or did he slide by it. Take a look here. Goes to the right. See, I think he's out. Yeah, it looked out from up here, and now it looks like he went to the right of it.
And Escobar looks a little hobbled after this play. You can see kind of gets scissored here by Sanchez. As we've been taking a look at the replay, Escobar's been out on a knee for a while.
Well, you watch that right foot of Sanchez. It goes and it gets the right ankle of Escobar. Sanchez looks like he keeps the bag with that right knee and thigh, and then when he leaves, he then gets the right arm on the base.
And no challenge by Mike Scioscia. Castro on the first pitch. A routine play for Trout in center field. A run in and a man left 90 feet from home. The Yankees lead at 1-0. 12th home run the last 2 seasons has made this a 1-0 Yankees lead as we take a look at the Angels Pepsi starting lineup. And it's the top 4 in the order that makes this motor run for the Angels, who led baseball in runs scored last month. Yanel Escobar batting .320, the second highest average in the league. He's followed by Cole Calhoun. The strikeouts down, the walks up this year for the right fielder. And then, of course, Mike Trout leading the league in walks and in on-base percentage. And Albert Pujols, who just continues to hit home runs on his way to Cooperstown. It's Masahiro Tanaka up on the mound tonight for the Yankees, and he has been one of the best command pitchers in the game this year.
And his last 2 starts, each time 8 strikeouts, no walks. Again, he's the best that the Yankees have to offer. He's got that split finger, the fastball. Again, dealing with that arm issue last year, hasn't come back to bother him. Been their most effective guy all year long.
And speaking of arm issues, Nathan Eovaldi getting his second Tommy John surgery earlier today for the Yankees. Had his first as a 17-year-old in high school.
Yeah, had it his junior year. Had the surgery today, as you mentioned.
He won't be back till 2018.
Yeah, 2018. God, I hate to see that.
Still 0-2 to Escobar. Escobar's been blistering hot lately. He's 8 for his last 9. And this coming on the heels of a 2 for 21 slide. Just a couple of nights ago, tied a career best with 5 hits.
And he's not afraid to get up there and swing the bat. He doesn't chase a lot of pitches out of the zone, so it's not as if he's a bad ball hitter, because he is disciplined, but he's not going to go up there and take a walk. He can get the barrel on the ball as good as anyone.
Tanaka's 1-2.
It's interesting. I was speaking with him before the game. He was telling me the other day he had a 5-hit game. He was swinging a 35-ounce bat, which in today's game, that is a very heavy bat. He's not married to one certain type. He'll use any type of bat. It doesn't matter. As long as it has a barrel on it, it'll work.
Tanaka gets his first strikeout here tonight. Take a look at the defense for the Yankees behind Tanaka. Sanchez catching Tanaka for the first time in his young career. Ellsbury in center. Hicks, the former Twin, is in left. Aaron Judge is in right field. Up the middle, Castro and Gregorius. Torres on the hot corner. And Austin at first base for the Yankees. Leadoff man sat down and brings in Cole Calhoun. Last year, Calhoun winning a Gold Glove, also hammering 26 home runs. But this year, as we mentioned a few moments ago, getting on base more, walking more, striking out less. Had a fantastic month in May, hit nearly 3 1/4.
The top half of the lineup for the Angels has been pretty darn effective. Guys setting the table. Trout, Pujols driving him in. In fact, Albert Pujols, second only to Carlos Correa as far as at-bats with runners in scoring position.
Now Pujols with 95 RBIs, so he's made the most of them.
Oh. Yeah, hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position this year.
1 out, nobody on for Calhoun. Two balls and a strike. Well, Eric, when we talk about Tanaka, you always talk about the splitter, and that has been a devastating pitch once again this year for him.
It really has, and it's something it has the arm action of a fastball, and then just drops out of the zone when it's effective. I was fortunate to play with Hideo Nomo, one of the first Japanese pitchers to come over and play in the United States. He pitched for the Dodgers in the mid-90s. Fastball, splitter, much like Tanaka.
That's back-to-back strikeouts for Tanaka.
Well, Aaron, this is the splitter that you were talking about. You see this thing, it's there, and it just drops at the last minute. You can see how it fools Calhoun. He's offering it a pitch that bounces in the dirt.
Two outs, nobody on. It brings in Mike Trout. Hitting .309 of the season, 9th in the league. Looks at a first pitch strike. Trout, who just turned 25 years old not long ago. Yet another 2020 season, and still plenty of room for more. 23 home runs, 20 steals. And he gets behind 1-2.
Well, those 20 steals, more than each of the last 2 years. I remember when he first came up, he was running rampant. The last 2 seasons, hasn't ran as much as he would have liked. This year already, though, 20 as you mentioned.
Tanaka strikes out the side in order. What a way to begin things for the right-hander out of Japan. We go to the second, 1-0 Yankees. Initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. An inning in the books here from Southern California. A very pleasant night. There is Aaron Judge to lead off the Yankees' second. Now, can you explain that?
The that's just a big man right there. 6'7", about 275. Just missing a fastball right there. When he gets a hold of it, that's the oomph.
1 ball and 1 strike to Judge, whose first hit in the big leagues was a 457-foot home run out to center field at Yankee Stadium. The second longest hit by a Yankee at home since 2009.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Yankee fans should be excited. It's not as if they're going through a rebuilding mode or they don't have youngsters that they can bring up. This organization, besides developing their own, but also through trades, they have a dearth of young talent.
Now Brian Cashman very busy at the deadline. Aroldis Chapman gone. Andrew Miller gone. Carlos Beltran is gone. Ivan Nova as well. Of course, it was a week ago tonight that Alex Rodriguez said his goodbye. And Mark Teixeira is retiring at the end of the season. So this is a very different looking Yankees team already, and will certainly continue to be so starting next year. Weaver's 3-2. Gets him at 70 miles an hour. That slow curveball. First strikeout tonight from Weaver.
Well, that's where the experience comes in. Weaver sets him up with a great off-speed breaking ball and a 3-2 count. You don't see that often in the minor leagues. 3-2, you're going to get that fastball. That's one of the things as Aaron Judge continues to play at the big league level, he'll gain the experience.
One out, it brings in Aaron Hicks. First pitch curve missing. Now a good look at Mark Teixeira. A very emotional press conference when he announced that this would be his final season. What a career.
Yeah, very nice career. Obviously curtailed and probably shortened because of the injuries. But a very consistent player, a guy you could count on to hit in the middle of the lineup. Be a big run producer. Did it well for many years.
A ball and 2 strikes to Hicks. Hicks, a former first-round draft pick by the Twins back in 2008. Now his first year with the Yankees. Just gets a piece.
Yeah, Weaver's the type of guy, because he doesn't have anything overpowering, you just got to be disciplined enough to get up there and think, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to wait. Otherwise, he'll get you out on your front foot. And much like he did with Aaron Judge, he'll get you out in front of that pitch.
We've seen a lot of curveballs here. The fastball, which we saw in the first inning especially, on average 83 miles an hour. It is the second slowest fastball in the majors. Only R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer, throwing one slower.
Well, the thing about it, though, it may be slow, but when you compare it to that breaking ball that he may roll in there at 70 miles an hour, it's the differential that causes the problems for hitters. You're talking about 13, 14 miles an hour difference. So that fastball, it seems a lot harder than it really is.
Full count to Hicks.
You see, you're looking at 19 miles as far as the range. 87 the high, 68 the low.
They have the shift on for Hicks. And you talk about the deception, there has to be something with his delivery as well.
Well, he throws across his body, and when he used to throw harder, that created real issues for the hitter. But you don't pick up the ball as well. You don't pick it up as quickly. A lot of arms and legs going, and the ball just kind of comes out.
Here comes the 9th pitch to Hicks, and it finishes him off. Back-to-back strikeouts from Weaver to begin the second inning.
Well, he got Aaron Judge on the curveball. Here he comes with the off-speed pitch to the changeup. And that's how Weaver is redeveloped himself, reinvented himself, I should say. He does not have the overpowering stuff, the live fastball anymore, but he competes and he can still pitch with the best of them as far as actual pitching.
First pitch missing to Tyler Austin. He's 24 years old. Made his major league debut 6 days ago. Of course, it was Austin and Judge, part of that very historic back-to-back home run feat back at Yankee Stadium. Homering in back-to-back at-bats for each of them, their first at-bats in the majors. And for Austin, an opposite field blast at Yankee Stadium.
Well, you see Austin out in front of that breaking pitch, that curveball. Very difficult to do, but as a hitter, you've just got to say, I'm going to take the ball the other way. He's not going to beat me on that 83, 84 mile an hour fastball.
Marte gives chase, but a foul ball.
But if you go up there, you're worried about that fastball. Off speed will deceive you. Look, these are the home runs the other day. This ball just down the right field line. Oh boy, we're excited. Not to be outdone, this is the big man. You mentioned it earlier, 450 some odd feet. That's no messing around right there.
Tries to hold back on a 68 mile an hour curveball. Pennington, the second baseman, a two-hand squeeze, and that finishes off the second. It's the middle third of the order due up for the Angels as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Albert Pujols will lead things off. DHing as usual tonight for Mike Scioscia. What a first inning for Tanaka. He struck out the side in order, and as if we didn't know it already, EK, it sure seems like he is comfortable throwing any pitch in any count.
It really is, and that's what makes him so difficult to approach as a hitter.
And cue ball to Gregorius, the shortstop, an easy play. 2 pitches and 1 out.
You know, Tanaka, you almost have to guess. You go up there, you sit on a pitch, and you may not get it the entire at bat. You may end up walking back to the dugout. But if you're disciplined enough to maintain that throughout the course of a game, chances are you will eventually get that pitch. Manny Ramirez, great hitter for the Red Sox for many years, and then later the Dodgers. Indians as well. He did that as good as anybody I've ever seen play. He'd go up there, he'd sit on a curveball. He may get 3 fastballs right down the middle. He wouldn't swing. You're sitting there, what the heck? Next at bat, curveball, whack, gone.
1 out for Jeffrey Marte, the first baseman. A lot of time in the minors for Marte at third base. He's played some left field, mostly first base, a little third here with the Angels.
Swings the bat decent. It'll be interesting to see if he can find a position on this ball club. Right now, you mentioned over at first base.
2 balls and a strike.
Known more for his bat than his glove.
He's hitting nearly 290 since the All-Star break. Jammed him, and a ground ball out to Castro. A couple of ground ball outs is how we begin the bottom of the second. That'll bring it Simmons.
See that on the screen, Speak for Yourself. Well, I'll tell you what, after Speak for Yourself, watch MLB Whip Around. It's on at 7 o'clock Eastern on FS1 weekdays. You see all the guys. D-Train, Dontrell Willis, Frank Thomas, Sweeney, myself, and of course Kevin Burkhardt, Ryan Fields, Chris Myers. Don't be afraid to tune in, Aaron.
Now that is as subtle of a plug as I've ever heard.
Is that a plug? MLB Whip Around. There you go.
I heard you rehearsing it earlier, and it sounded even better this time around. It's 0-1 to Simmons. Tanaka set down the first 5. So far, this is shaping up to be a very different inning than the first, where he struck out the side in order. Here in the second, a ground ball to short and a ground ball to second base.
Since I rehearsed that thing so well,
perfectly.
I forgot C.J. Nitkowski. If I didn't say him, I'm going to be getting killed on.
That's a Twitter war waiting to happen right there.
It is. C.J., I love you, man. I can't wait to watch you.
We all do. Ball and 2 strikes to Simmons. In the first inning, he struck out the side in order. Here, 3 consecutive ground ball outs. Only 10 pitches. We're through 2. The game so far, the leadoff homer by Jacoby Ellsbury, 1-0 Yankees. Torres, the third baseman, batting 9th, will lead things off with the third facing Weaver. On the first pitch, and Escobar can't handle it. This is tracked down by Buss. Torres pedaling quickly into third. He slides it, into second, and he's safe.
Well, Torres just rifles this ball down the line, no question. Nick Buss gets it over there. Gets over there, I should say. Gets it into second base, but easy double for Torres.
His first hit since July 22nd. To the top of the order, here is Ellsbury, who homered on the third pitch of the game. Ball one. Now the Yankees right now in the midst of a winning month. They're 9-7 here in August. Offense has not been the problem. It has been the pitching. Yankees averaging just about 5 runs a game. But their pitching is allowing just over 5 runs a game. But some offense early tonight from Ellsbury, his 5th homer this year.
Man, this was on the 3rd pitch of the ball game. Pitch right down the middle and bam. Gets the Yankees off to a nice start.
CC Sabathia, a tough time out. His last appearance for the Yankees, facing J. Happ. And really, when you talk about Weaver, Sabathia in a similar boat. 2 guys who have had diminishing velocity on their fastball and learning to pitch in a different way in the last couple of seasons. Into right field. Correa is getting waved around third. And Ellsbury has driven in the 2nd run of the game. It is Ellsbury 2 and the Angels nothing.
It was been just out over the plate. Ellsbury does a nice job. It was a changeup away. Didn't get it far enough over the outer part of the plate. Ellsbury shoots it out there.
First 2 have reached a run in. Nobody out. It brings in Gregorius. The Yankees really had their way with the Angels earlier this season back in June. At Yankee Stadium, they swept the Halos in 4 games. And they scored no fewer than 5 runs. Topping out at 12 runs in one of those games. Off the mound, and a tricky pick by Pennington. What a double play.
You see Ellsbury at first base gives the fake break. Not sure it would have made much of a difference. Cliff Pennington makes a heck of a play. Lifts it to Simmons, and of course Simmons, one of the strongest arms in the game. That's a great job of getting over there and then having the wherewithal to make a nice feed. Simmons, bam.
What a beauty. 2 outs, the base is now empty. It brings in Sanchez for the 2nd time. Sanchez a single back in the 1st that extended his hitting streak to now 5 games. He went the other way for it. This time he rips it, pulls it into the corner in left field. Sanchez 2 for 2 as he motors into second base. Buss plays it off the wall. Sanchez a single in the 1st and now roping a double here in the 3rd.
Well, that play by Pennington even looms larger. Angels turning that double play saves them from a big inning here. Gary Sanchez continuing to show that it doesn't matter what league you put him in, he can hit. Rockets that ball into the left field corner.
Sanchez now 4 straight multi-hit games. 2 outs, a runner in scoring position. It brings in McCann. We were talking about that 4-game series between these 2 teams in the Bronx. Weaver made one of those starts. He was battered 5 1/3, 6 runs, a couple of homers. Ellsbury took him deep in that game. He has taken him deep here tonight as well. Sanchez right behind Weaver after the double. 2 outs and 2 strikes to McCann.
Last time he was ahead in the count to a left-handed hitter, that was Ellsbury. He threw the changeup away, didn't get it far enough away. And Ellsbury had the base hit to right center. See what he does here with McCann. Goes with the changeup away. Again, if you're hitting it, it's much easier to say than actually go up and do, but you've got to wait and think about going the other way. Don't get greedy and think you're going to hit the ball 10 miles and pull it. Really be satisfied. I'm going the other way. Going the other way.
Well, that obviously makes what Sanchez did back in the first even more impressive, as young of a hitter as he is.
Well, again, what was even for me earlier in that at bat, he fouled off some pitches low and away. And then to drive the ball to right field as he did, and this time comes up, pulls the ball down the left field line. Still very early as far as when you start talking about these young Yankee hitters and prospects and what they're going to do, but the more you see it, you say, wow, these guys have a plan. It's not just, wow, he's just hot hitting right now. The approach, the discipline, the thought process, you can see there's something there.
Gloved into right field. Calhoun barely has to move at all. And that ends the top of the third. Another run in for the Yankees. They lead 2-0. #1 live streaming sports service delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. First pitch strike poured in from Tanaka to Pennington. Pennington, who started a sparkling double play back in the third, leads off the home half. Ties him up.
Well, he's got 2 strikes with breaking balls in this at-bat. The fastball missed inside, but he's got Pennington in a situation where he really has no idea what could be coming right here. Does a good job of fighting off that fastball. He's really got him opened up now for that split finger.
And we've got the full shift on here for Pennington with 2 strikes. As Gregorius has now moved over on the first base side of second.
He's thrown 2 fastballs in this at bat that he definitely would have liked. Nick Lentz, a home plate umpire, not giving either one of them to him. It's an excellent pitcher's pitch right there. You can take a look at the box tracks.
The 2-2. On appeal down to third base. He does not go. There's Kerwin Danley, our third base umpire tonight. Part of the All-Star umpiring crew this year.
Now, if you're hitting, you say no. If you're out on the mound, you're saying absolutely.
First full count of the night for Tanaka. Castro handles this cleanly. 4 straight ground ball outs from Tanaka. 1 out to begin the third. Before the monster Diaz-McGregor rematch, UFC 202 begins on FS1. Explosive, undefeated, and going for 10 straight wins. Cody Garbrandt faces veteran striker Takeya Mizugaki. Plus Pennington battles Phillips. UFC 202 prelims tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on FS1. Or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Tanaka has sat down the first 7. Now looking at the catcher, Jet Bandy. Drops in first pitch, curveball strike. Bandy with 8 home runs, the most homers by an Angels rookie catcher rather since Mike Napoli back in 2006.
Mike Napoli, how about that year he's having in Cleveland?
Wow. Not kidding.
Home run after home run.
The Indians, by the way, winning in almost unbelievable fashion tonight. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, back-to-back home runs, make it 1 out, pardon me. And Tyler Naquin with an inside the park walk-off home run.
Geez. Having a special season out there.
Weak fly ball. And here is Hicks coasting in to make the catch. 2 outs. First out through the air so far tonight.
Left fielder, number 3.
And but nothing but strikeouts and ground ball outs from Tanaka as Nick Buss, the left fielder, steps in. Buss with only 40 career major league at-bats entering tonight. Had a brief stint with the Dodgers back in 2013. Played his college ball at USC. And now here for the Angels.
Well, Mike Scioscia giving him an opportunity, and the brief time he's been up here, hitting .333.
Well, not many at-bats so far for Buss this year, but Scioscia really likes his ability to simply square the ball up.
Good athlete. Kind of got lost in that Dodger system. They just had a ton of outfielders. Found his way here, and it's been chronicled. The left field spot for the Angels the last 2 years, it's been tough. There's not a lot of production there. Big Buss getting an opportunity. Take a look at those ranks right there. 29, 29, last.
They've even put Ji-Man Choi out there a little bit in left field. 4th strikeout for Tanaka. He has gone 9 up, 9 down. As we start the top of the 4th inning, Starlin Castro will lead off the frame on a very beautiful night here from Orange County. What else would you expect? Castro entering tonight with 15 home runs, a new career high. The 15th coming Wednesday against the Blue Jays. Plenty of time to back away from a 69-mile-an-hour pitch from Weaver.
Again, as a hitter, it's really so tough because Weaver isn't overpowering. You get up there, you think, all right, I'm going to take this guy deep. You get so anxious up there, and he uses it against you, just as he did right there. Pitcher like Weaver is going to take the hitter's aggressiveness and turn it against him.
This is what Scioscia was saying earlier about his ability to read swings.
Well, and that's where the experience comes in. Reads the swings.
Bus and straightaway left field. 1 out. No time for a game break. We were talking about that dramatic finish in Cleveland. Tyler Naquin, after a home run, tied it at 2 apiece. Naquin, the inside the park home run as the Indians pick up their 70th win of the season. How about that for some celebration?
That's exciting. You watch that, if you're an Indian fan, wow. Tell you what, if I'm a Toronto fan, I'm wondering where my center fielder was. I think he was watching the whole play. Ends up costing him a game.
First pitch strike to Judge. Naquin, the former first-round draft pick out of Texas A&M. And as you probably would have guessed already, EK, that's the first time in the modern era, which officially began in the great year of 1900, where back-to-back home runs, with the second one being an inside-the-park home run, ended a game. Don't see that too often.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
And what makes that even more bizarre is that last night Naquin won it on a walk-off sacrifice fly. So one night a sac fly, the next night the inside the Parker, the absolute extreme ends.
Well, there have been a couple fastballs tonight. Jeff Weaver, this is his 3rd fastball, didn't get it. Tanaka on the other side, a few fastballs that he would have liked. Home plate umpire Nick Lentz not giving it to the guys.
Still 1-2 on Judge. Judge homering in each of his first 2 games of the majors and driving in a run in each of his first 3. Marte near the line, and the first baseman makes the catch for round number 2.
Left fielder, number 31, Aaron.
2 outs, nobody on. It brings in Aaron Hicks. Both Yankees runs tonight coming off swings from Jacoby Ellsbury, a solo home run to begin the game, and then an RBI single in the 3rd. Those 2 days off, including the scheduled day off yesterday, doing some good for Ellsbury. Hicks on the first pitch, and 2 outs, single into right.
First baseman, number 26.
Hicks, a lot of athletic ability, has been given an opportunity this year, just hasn't been able to get anything going. Again, coming into the year, the Yankees really liked him.
And part of their efforts over this winter to get younger. Batting just .199 entering tonight, but that base hit will help just a smidge. 2 outs, a man on for Tyler Austin. Austin spending time at Double-A, at Triple-A this year. He's got Hicks at first, 2 outs. Pretty close at first, but Hicks is safe.
You see Hicks losing his footing before he is able to make his way back to first base. Because of that, makes it a lot closer than he would have liked. Well, we saw Gary Sanchez, not known for his speed, steal a base earlier against Weaver. Weaver, a good one to try to steal against because he throws so many off-speed pitches. Get a halfway decent jump. Very difficult for the catcher to throw the runner out at second base, especially when Weaver's floating that 70-mile-an-hour curveball up there.
And right on cue, a strike.
See 60 pitches in the 4th inning.
A lot of strikes for Weaver. Weaver coming off his best month of the season in July. Has had a tough start here in the month of August. Club to left. Bus scampering quickly. He's got just enough room, and that ends the inning. Allowed out number 3, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. Twins back in 2012 has given up 2 runs so far as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Here's Yanel Escobar, leadoff hitting third baseman for the Angels. Escobar with his 3rd team in as many years. The Rays, the Nationals, and now the Angels. And he finds himself as an everyday leadoff hitter for the first time since he was playing for John Farrell in Toronto back in 2011. Showing bunt, watch out. My goodness.
take a look and see what happened if he fouled that ball off or that was just straight face. No, that ball fouled right off his bat. That was bat out in front, boom, and then to the face. That has to be a dead ball right there, unless they're saying he was out of the box.
Now the umpires
dead ball.
Looked like they were originally ruling him out. Good conversation with Mike Scioscia.
So either Escobar has to go back to the plate, right? Or a pinch hitter.
And Nick Lentz, the home plate umpire, looked like he was having a little bit of a long distance conversation with Joe Girardi. As Gregorio Petit will step in.
Nothing better than go up there 0-2. Now this at bat is Escobar still.
Well, welcome inside the booth here at Angel Stadium. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Eric Karros. And Eric, what have you seen so far from Masahiro Tanaka?
Well, I've seen that split finger, and I've seen the fastball, and I've seen him keep everybody off balance right now. And that's something that Tanaka, you look at his last 2 starts, 8 strikeouts, no walks in each of those 2 starts. And he's continued that today. Tonight, I should say, that first inning, 1, 2, 3 against the Angels, and you're talking about strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Kept him off balance. I think more than anything, just the command tonight so far. Been able to hit spots with any one of his pitches.
So here is Petit, who inherits this 0-2 count after Escobar has to leave the game after taking a ball off the face. Hello, stab. Correa is the third baseman. That didn't take long. Tanaka has sat down the first 10 in a row for the second straight start.
You know, and one of the things so far, there has not been a hard hit ball by this Angel ball club. So not only is Tanaka retiring these guys, but he's doing it with relative ease.
Calhoun, a thump out to center. Ellsbury has just enough space.
Well, there's the barrel of the bat right there. The Angels found. Calhoun gives this thing a real ride, but hits it to dead center. Ball doesn't carry all that well at night here. Gets it to the deepest part of the ballpark. Tanaka's happy. Knows he got away with one there.
Now facing Trout with 2 outs. The 1-1.
See, Tanaka pretty pitch efficient. 4 strikeouts, 46 pitches.
Interesting that the Yankees at the time of that last pitch had to shift on, as now Castro, the second baseman, makes his way a little bit further over on the first base side of second, but he was swung over on the third base side at the last pitch. The 2-2. And a rare full count tonight from Tanaka. That's just his second.
Well, and you have to figure he's going to go with a splitter or some sort of breaking pitch. Just can't believe that he would go after him with a 3-2 fastball.
And the first hit of the night for the Angels. After Tanaka sat down the first 11 in a row, Trout, who leads the league in on-base percentage, is aboard with 2 outs. And that brings in a tying run in Albert Pujols, who is once again making history on his march to Cooperstown. 582 career home runs is where he enters here tonight, one shy of tying Mark McGwire. As the count continues here inside Angel Stadium.
Continues to produce. I mentioned earlier, 95 RBIs. Ball jumps off his bat. Look at that, 45 RBIs in his last 40 games.
What's really been amazing is, especially this month, the batting average hasn't been there for Pujols, and yet the run production has.
Well, he's been hitting with runners in scoring position, all year long, hitting at over a 300 clip. Very dangerous hitter. I talked to him before the game tonight. He mentioned that he's feeling healthy. He has his legs. He was going through his routine in the tunnel, hitting off the tee and hitting with one of the hitting coaches, Paul Sereno. He and head hitting coach Dave Hansen run the offense here. Man, he just Pujols crushes balls.
He was hit the opposite way. Judge will pick it out of the grass. Trout holding at second.
Smart by Mike Trout, and the reason I say that, he rounds second base and loses his footing just a bit. Take a look at Pujols shooting the ball to the right side, but watch Mike Trout going around second. Whoa! And it wasn't as if he couldn't keep going to third base, but a smart enough player to realize, look, I'm not going to jeopardize anything. Do not want to make that third out there. Let's play it safe and stay here at second.
Well, that's a break for the Yankees. Trout leading all of baseball, going first to third on singles this year. Many, of course, coming from Albert Pujols. So after Tanaka sat down the first 11 in a row, he now is working with 2 on. Back-to-back singles with 2 outs, facing Jeffrey Marte.
I was going to say, I thought it was right after I said that the Angels hadn't hit a ball hard. Cole Calhoun drives one to the wall in center field. Trout rips one to left. Pujols shoots a ball into right.
We've got the tie-in run at first to go ahead at the plate in Marte. He's got 9 home runs this year. Couple of low bounces to Gregorius. Gets rid of it quickly, and 2 runners are left down for the Angels. We're through 4. Yankees have the lead. One of this 3-game weekend series, Angels and Yankees from the Big A in Anaheim, as Torres, the third baseman, leads off the inning. Torres doubled on the first pitch that he saw back in the third. That was his first hit since late July. And this is cracked out to left. Bus is looking, and Torres has homered. Obliterated out to left field. First home run this year. He has doubled, and now he has homered. And the Yankees have taken a 3-0 lead.
Well, just a hanging breaking ball. Torres absolutely crushes this. Weaver knows it from the get-go.
Torres, who was with the Dodgers for just a short stint last year, his first career major league home run. Ellsbury, an innocent fly ball out towards Trout. One down.
Young man's excited.
How about that? A couple of solo home runs hugging it out right there. Ellsbury to begin the game. Torres, the number 9 hitter. They have the shift on for Gregorius with 1 out. So really, you can make the case that the two most unlikely to homer in this game for the Yankees have both gone deep. Ellsbury, just his 12th home run in the last 2 years, his 5th this year. Torres, hitting under 220 this season, has hardly had any at-bats overall. And this is muscled a mile high. Well gone. The 3rd home run tonight by the Yankees. Gregorius finds almost the same seat that Ellsbury did to begin the ball game, and it's now 4-0 New York.
Well, Weaver trying to throw that breaking ball. Gregorius just deposits this thing. You know, it's one of the
big swing and a miss.
Yeah, it's one of the things that have really bitten this Angels staff. The home runs allowed. You see Jared Weaver, 27 and 17 career starts versus the Yankees. But this year,
the opposite way with some lifts. Off the bat of Sanchez. And Calhoun can't get to it. Trout will have to clean it up. Meanwhile, Sanchez pedaling into third. The throw, the tag by Petit, and he's out. Well, he had the single, he had the double already in the bag. His first 2 at-bats, trying to get the triple this time.
Well, Sanchez does a nice job of driving the ball to right center. Mike Trout hustles over there, gets the ball in. Pennington just throws an absolute rocket to third base, easily getting Sanchez. But Sanchez hasn't been afraid to show his wheels a little bit tonight. He stole a base and went second to third on a fly ball to Mike Trout. That one, getting a little bit too excited there.
This is crushed. Calhoun looking, turning, gone, another home run. The 3rd this inning, the 4th tonight for the Yankees. It's 5-0 New York. Ellsbury, Torreyes, Gregorius, and now McCann. That is it for Jared Weaver. First 4-homer game allowed since April of 2014. 3 of those homers coming here in the 5th. And fortunate for his sake, and the Angels all were solo. Could have been a lot worse. And brings Mike Morin. Weaver cannot escape the 5th. First pitch strike to Castro. Now, for whatever reason this year, the 5th inning has really handcuffed Weaver. And it continued here tonight. Petit, what a stab, right on top of the chalk, and a long throw in time. Castro is out. Petit taking over for Escobar, who was injured at the plate, and that ends the top of the 5th. 3 home runs for the Yankees in the 5th inning, and they have taken a commanding early lead. doubled and his first career major league home run. One of 3 homers hit by the Yankees in the 5th. Gregorius going deep as well. McCann the 3rd and final shot, and that spelled the end of the night for Jared Weaver. So while Weaver has been roughed up and has had an early exit, Masahiro Tanaka has been carving up the Angels' orders so far tonight. He faces Simmons to begin the last of the 5th. Tanaka sat down the first 11 Angels hitters in a row before back-to-back singles from Trout and Pujols, but Marte ended the inning.
Well, this would be important for Tanaka just to not give the Angels any kind of momentum. You mentioned relatively cruising and then ran into Trout, Pujols, but able to retire Marte. Again, and this is the second half of the Angels lineup, and really that's been the Achilles heel all year long. You talk about the first 4 spots, and it's been very productive, but the bottom part of that lineup just haven't been able to get any consistent production.
Now Trout, Pujols anchoring the top half, along with Escobar, who is done for the night. Calhoun having another fine year. Talking things over with C.J. Cron, who will be activated tomorrow. Suffered a very severe broken hand, was hit by a pitch. Former first-round draft pick out of Utah for the Angels. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 5th strikeout tonight for Tanaka. Let's go back and look at this play that ended the top half of this inning.
Yeah, really a nice play by Petit. He gets up. Watch how strong the throw is. Zips it over there. Marte, nice job, holds the bag. Angels have made some decent defensive plays. The relay getting Sanchez at 3rd. The double play early in the game started by Pennington. The problem is they couldn't do anything defensively. Those balls getting out of the ballpark, right? Yankee power showed up. Weaver made some mistakes and they made him pay.
1-1 to Pennington, who's been part of this very difficult season for the Angels in terms of stints on the disabled list. Pennington missing some time with a hamstring injury. In fact, twice on the disabled list, missed over 50 games because of that hammy. Another strikeout for Tanaka. He's fanned the first 2 to begin the bottom of the 5th. Tomorrow, MLB on FS1 is back with another huge matchup. Don't miss the Mets battling Buster Posey and the Giants trying to get things turned around since the All-Star break. Tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Now, Tanaka has spun back-to-back starts with 8 strikeouts and no walks. He's fanned 6 so far tonight without walking a batter. Now facing Bandy. Bandy leans into the first pitch. Hicks angling out, approaching the track, but has plenty of clearance, and that retires the side in order yet again. At-Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. You can download MLB.com At-Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Aaron Judge leads off the top of the 6th inning. Mike Morin stays out on the mound. He took over for Weaver in the 5th. Fourth time this year the Yankees have connected on 4 home runs. And their 3rd straight game with at least 3 homers.
Interesting, because coming into the season, this is what the Yankee ball club was built on, hitting home runs. That's why they scored so many runs last year, and they did not do that this year. Not a team that was built athletically to go 1st to 3rd or manufacture runs. They just did not hit the home runs this year.
Morin gets ahead of Judge 1-2 as that scatters some Yankees. Morin, originally drafted and developed by the Angels, taken out of North Carolina back in 2012, was up in the big leagues less than 2 years later. Swing and a miss from Judge. Sweeping breaking ball from Morin. A nice way for him to begin the top of the 6th.
2 times tonight. First at bat, Weaver got Judge on the breaking ball way out in front. Here, takes something off it. Judge way out in front.
1 out for Aaron Hicks. Hicks a single on the first pitch back in the 4th inning. This time taking strike 1. Hicks playing more than 100 games for the first time in his career. Has struggled with injuries and also was sent down a couple of times when he was with the Twins down to their AAA affiliate in Rochester. Yankees with a run in the 1st, a run in the 3rd, and then 3 solo home runs in the 5th. Morin has been back and forth a couple of times this year between the Angels and AAA Salt Lake City. Had a fantastic rookie season, an ERA beneath 3, but has struggled some since then.
Well, it hasn't been just the starting pitching. It's been the bullpen as well that has created a lot of the issues for this Angels ball club. Right now, the guys are going to get opportunities as they look towards the future. Mike Scioscia mentioning that, look, every game they're still building towards a championship. Now, it may not be this year, but you've got to make plans for next season and beyond.
This is trickling and booted foul. They had the shift on, so Petit had a long way to go for it.
Like that booted foul. Very nice.
Garrett Richards, their ace entering this year. You can see he's barely been up on the mound, only 6 starts. Opted not to go with Tommy John surgery, and it worked out in his favor with the stem cell route. And it looks like that ligament is healing up, and he's been able to start throwing. So that's been fantastic news for the Angels.
Well, similar to what Tanaka did with the Yankees. Avoided the surgery and been able to pitch effectively.
Into the shift. Watch out. That could have been scary. Simmons and Pennington. Simmons going all over the place for it. Kicks up a divot, and it's a base hit with 1 out.
Well, one of the many perils of a shift. You know, we always think about cutoffs and relays and how the shifts impact who's getting the cutoff or relay, who's covering a bag. But also these sorts of things, because guys may be closer than normal. They aren't aware of how to react in certain situations. You don't know where that other infielder is. And could have had a very violent collision right there.
Simmons nearly spiked. 1 out, 1 on. It brings in Tyler Austin. Petit charging. Only play on to first base. 2 outs. Hicks into second base.
Third baseman, number 17, Ronald Torreyes.
And Brett Oberholzer getting loose. A one-time starter for the Astros, warming up inside Mike Scioscia's bullpen. Let's see what Torreyes can do here in his third at-bat. It's going to be tough to best the first 2. A double in the third, and his first major league home run in the 5th. We'll take a look at how Torreyes led off the 5th inning.
It gets the off-speed pitch and absolutely crushes it. He's excited. First one in the big leagues.
I think the obvious question, Eric, did John Sterling have a home run call dialed up and ready to go for Torreyes? Is he that prepared? It's the most unlikely home run hit tonight in baseball, I guarantee you.
Knowing him, absolutely. Probably had something there. Is John
the best dressed man in radio? And there's no doubt about that. Two balls and a strike.
Nice job by Bandy.
Morin trying to work around Hicks at second base. He reached on the infield single. Morin pitching much better since the All-Star break. The 2-1. Dropping in front of Trout. A 3-hit day for Torreyes, and he drives in another run. Hicks steaming around third base. It's a 3-for-3 night for Ronald Torreyes. He is a triple shy of the cycle. It's 6-0 Yankees.
Who would have thought? See, this pitch is the pitch down and away, goes after it, shoots it into left center for an RBI. Hit the ball hard tonight. Still has a few more at bats.
Two-out run production for the Yankees. Ellsbury's fourth at bat tonight. Ellsbury's had a nice night. A leadoff home run to begin the game. RBI single back in the third.
Had that ball in his third at bat. He just missed. Flew out to center field.
Well, we were mentioning earlier the scores of the 4-game series earlier this year between these two teams from the Bronx. That was back in June when the Yankees swept the Angels in 4 games. And they scored no fewer than 5 runs, so that trend has continued. Battering Angels pitchers this year for Joe Girardi's Yankees. One outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, a lot of teams have hit the Angels pitching this year. We mentioned injuries from the get-go. We showed Garrett Richards earlier. C.J. Wilson not able to get going. Andrew Haney early in the year.
Nick Tropiano as well.
Tropiano.
Skaggs a late start, very late start. Slicing, dropping, and a base hit. Ellsbury's 3rd hit tonight. Torreyes, after the RBI single, into second. And with 2 outs, the Yankees have 2 on. And we see Mike Scioscia once again. He's had Oberholzer warming up. We've got another pitching change. Greater coverage of baseball sponsored by T-Mobile. 4 home runs tonight, and the Yankees got it started right away.
Oh, they really did. Jacoby Ellsbury leads off the game with a home run, and then the Yankee onslaught just continued. Hitting balls into the seats. Jared Weaver, unable to keep the Yankees off balance. They really got to him in that 5th inning. 3 home runs.
The Yankees' 2nd inning this year with 3 homers. The other coming back in early May against Kansas City. And here's Brett Oberholzer, already the 3rd pitcher used tonight by manager Mike Scioscia. Takes over for Mike Morin. Comes in with 2 outs and a couple of base runners. Correa's at second, Ellsbury at first, facing Gregorius. Oberholzer's moved around a little bit lately as part of the trade from Houston to Philadelphia with Vince Velasquez, Ken Giles as well, and then was picked up by the Angels and put in the Halos bullpen. Blocked into the corner in right field. Calhoun can't catch up to it, and 1 hops and goes over the short wall in right field. A ground rule double. Another extra base hit for the Yankees. Their 14th hit in total. Torreyes scores 7-0 New York.
Yeah, but overall, so he's struggled so far in his brief time with the Angels. 2 2/3 innings, 2 home runs, 6 runs. You see this pitch down and in. Warriors just turns on this thing. This has been the Angels season in a nutshell.
No, you're
pitching. Just whether it's the starting pitching, the relief pitching.
Ellsbury at third. Gregorius at second. And it brings in Sanchez already for the 4th time. What a night for Sanchez so far. His last time up, tried to stretch and double into a triple, was cut down to third base.
And we've been saying that for a few of the Yankee hitters so far. What a night this guy's having. What a night that guy's having. I mean, Ellsbury. Torres. Glorious. I mean,
14 hits, 7 runs. And it looks like the day off after a long flight cross country for the Yankees did them some good. Angels coming off a 4-game split against the Mariners. Two and one.
Sanchez in a stretch right now where he's not getting cheated. Not making many indecisive swings. Everything looks balanced. Strong position.
Sanchez now with 16 hits in his last 8 games, including tonight.
And just the way he's taking pitches as well. Just so in control.
Well, the young 23-year-old has a chance to reach for the 4th time as we play the 6th inning. Full count.
That's as a young hitter, it's still very aggressive. Got a 3-1 count. Got a left-handed hitter on deck. Got first base open. I don't know, probably not going to get a fastball 3-1. Did. I guess you're probably not going to get one 3-2.
Here it comes. He reaches for the 4th time. A single, 2 doubles, and now a walk. And that is the first walk of the game.
Designated hitter, number 34, Brian McCann.
Overall, he didn't really want to go after him. It's a 3-1 count came about. Gets the lefty on lefty matchup here.
Runners all around for the Yankees. A chance to expand this already 7-0 lead in the 6th inning. And Bandy wants to talk things over with Overholzer. At one point in Overholzer's career, he looked like he'd be a very promising starter for the Astros. Just a few years ago, spun a complete game shutout against Seattle from inside Minute Maid Park. Has been a reliever this year, exclusively after being a starter from 2013 up to last season.
Well, interesting, the Angels pick him up. Remember, he was with the Phillies. Phillies not known for their great pitching. And it just shows you, the Angels are taking their chances with anybody right now. They're just looking for arms.
Slicing to Bus, charging, and he's able to make the catch. The Yankees leave him loaded, but they've added on a couple of more runs. It's 7-0 New York. 7-0 New York in game 1 of this 3-game series. We'll take an updated look at the American League wild card race. Boston and Baltimore at the top. Mariners in action tonight at home after a West Coast road trip. They're taking on the Brewers. Tigers in action from earlier today as Buss leads off the bottom of the 6th inning. But a big series between the Astros and the Orioles. Houston winning 15-8 after Baltimore clobbered a ton of home runs in the opening game of that series last night. Two nothing on Buss to begin the bottom of the 6th.
Well, it's not inconceivable the Yankees can at least make it competitive. They're playing good baseball. Nobody seems to want to run away. I should say has been able to run away. Teams in the East are going to beat up on one another. Tigers were hot for a while. They've cooled off. Mariners, they just came in here and split a 4-game series. Just wonder about their rotation. I guess the best thing would be, why can't the Yankees? Again, it's not as if some other teams are going to run away. Everybody has some weaknesses. You know, I guess the question would be,
deep in the hole out to second. Castro. Austin cleans it up.
The question would be, are the Yankee youngsters, can they continue to play as they have? You know, is Sanchez going to continue to hit? The Judge going to show the power?
We hear all the time, Eric, veteran players talking about young players coming up in a playoff push and how energizing that is. Is that a cliche, or is that the real deal?
Well, it's energizing, but the difference is these guys are going to be the ones that are counted on to perform. You know, it's one thing if you're a veteran team and you've got established guys. Boom, you bring up a youngster and all the energy, and that kind of translates and gets everybody going again. But the youngsters are the core right now. They're the ones hitting in the middle of the lineup.
That's your point. Sanchez hitting third tonight for the first time. Judge has had a fairly quiet night in right field. 2 outs. Sunday, the fastest sport in the world in Banner, Minnesota, with the Lucas Oil NHRA National Finals. Coverage begins on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Two quick outs by Tanaka, now facing Calhoun for the 3rd time. He flew out to deep center field his last time up.
Yeah, really just missed a home run. Absolutely crushed it, but hit it to the deepest part of the field.
Strike 1. Tanaka has 6 strikeouts so far tonight, facing the team that is the hardest to strike out of the majors. A team with fewer punch-outs this season than the Angels. Calhoun behind 0-2.
See Torres shifting over to the right side of second base.
Calhoun, 3 pitches, 7 strikeouts for Tanaka. He's faced 2 over the minimum through 6. The best seats at every ballpark for every game. Visit MLB.com/tickets today. Beautiful night here in Anaheim as we get underway in the top of the 7th. Holzer, first pitch strike to Castro. We've talked a lot about how young the Yankees have suddenly gotten. And Castro, just because of how long he's been around for, feels like this grizzled veteran. He's 26 years old. And earlier this month, he became the youngest player to play in his 1,000th career Major League game since Miguel Cabrera did it back in 2009.
Many years a shortstop for the Chicago Cubs. Made the transition to second base nicely for this Yankee ball club.
The 2-1.
I think in 2011, Castro had over 200 hits. 207. Led the league.
Still 2-2. You look at this Yankees middle infield between Gregorius and Castro, shortstop and second base. That's a pretty powerful offensive duo. Gregorius with his 17th home run earlier tonight. Castro a career high with 15. Near the line for Petit, who anchors the chalk and throws wide onto first base. And with that, Castro is safe. That's an error on Petit, who took over for Escobar after he was injured.
Right fielder, number 99, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, Petit has time, as we've seen earlier. Very strong arm. Maybe a more experienced first baseman can move his feet a little bit better. Would have been tough. Marte just doing a nice job of not letting that ball get by him. But may have been able to go behind the bag to receive the throw. Would have been tough.
Aaron Judge. Simmons cuts it off. Gets rid of a low to Pennington, who wheels and fires onto first, but not in time.
It's a heck of a play by Simmons and Pennington. Pennington getting it out of his glove.
Left fielder, number 30.
Not sure he wanted to roll it to Pennington, but Pennington does a nice job of making sure he gets it and making the turn. See right there, Simmons wanted to get it to him in the air, just rolled out of his glove. Uh-oh.
One out, one on. It brings in Hicks. I saw the nice double play started by Pennington earlier tonight.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting because of the new slide rules. Second baseman in that situation doesn't really have to worry about getting crushed right there. Gets off the bag. Runner doesn't take him out as in the past. Back in that situation, Castro just held up. Didn't even offer a slide.
We also saw a strong throw from Pennington to nab Sanchez at third base.
Yep.
All Yankees so far tonight. 2-1 to Hicks. Hicks a couple of base hits tonight, including an infield single back in the 6th inning, later scored. Oberholzer behind. And it's 3-1. A high lift out to right. Calhoun in front of the warning track for round number 2.
First baseman, number 26.
Yeah, big judges. I mean, you compare him there to Tony Pena, Marte.
He's the first guy off the bus.
God, man, you're not lying. That's a big man.
2 outs, judge at first for Tyler Austin. Two for 15 since homering in his first career major league at bat. Oberholzer, the third pitcher used tonight after Jared Weaver could not escape the 5th. 5 runs on 10 hits, and 4 of those hits never came back. 3 pitches, all strikes to Austin. Judge is left stranded. It's time to stretch. Homers, 4 doubles. Sanchez and Torreyes with 3 hits apiece, and Tanaka, Eric, has just been fantastic.
It's been dynamite all night, moving the ball around, but facing one of the best players, if not the best in all of baseball. Mike Trout.
Right back off of Tanaka and into left center field. Trout has 2 of the 3 hits tonight for the Angels. That's going to leave a mark.
That's just a rocket off his foot. just kind of hope for Tanaka's sake that was a glancing blow. He's fine.
Somehow. Trout is 2 for 3. Every other Angels hitter has combined for 1 hit. And that is,
and here's the
right
other
here.
hit right here. Yeah.
Pujols a ground ball single into right field, back of the 4th. Pops up the very first pitch. Torres. Out number 1. Now Tanaka tonight is bidding to become only the 9th pitcher ever with 3 consecutive starts and 8 strikeouts without walking a batter. He struck out 7 Angels hitters so far. And each of the previous 8 have all come since 2013, including one of the Angels' own, Matt Shoemaker, earlier this year. Shoemaker had a remarkable run. Right around 50 consecutive hitters faced without issuing a walk, or striking out 50, I should say, without hitting a walk, without issuing a walk. 1 out, 1 on. It brings in Marte. Marte 0 for 2.
You see that one of 8 Angels to hit 5th in this order. We mentioned earlier that the first 4 have been very productive for the Angels. It's that second half of the lineup. Just haven't been able to get the consistency. And you're talking about 8 different spots, or 8 different people in that 5th spot. How important is that 5th spot? You got Trout, Pujols, and then, all right, who we put in here?
One out, 1 out.
Chris Crone coming back tomorrow. CJ, excuse me, Chris's father. Doing a lot of the family stuff. Jeff Weaver, Jared Weaver, CJ, Chris. Anyhow, he'll be back tomorrow. Mike Scioscia telling us. There he is.
Crone, a very streaky hitter, and he was just scalding hot at the time that he was hit in the hand. Now this is what it looked like for CJ Crone. We'll be back tomorrow for the Angels. Some good news for Mike Scioscia. A chopper to Gregorius. And it is not in time. Austin with the splits at first base. And Marte able to leg it out.
Castro, nice job of getting rid of it. Just they had the right call over there at first.
Two outs, Marte at first base. It brings in Simmons. 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout on a slider his last time up. Now we hear all the time, Eric, as we were talking about the batting order for the Angels, players saying they don't care where they are in the order just as long as they're in there. Were you a subscriber to that, or did you like having a spot?
No, I liked having a spot, and whether it was specifically the 4th spot or 5th spot, I didn't waver too much from that. But I did. If you're hitting 6 or 7 or occasionally 3, it's different. with these guys, with the Angels, 1 or 2, okay, 3 or 4, but when you're hitting second one game, you're hitting fifth the next, you're hitting seventh, you know, that's where there's some issues. As a player, now you're supposed to, well, it shouldn't matter, but it does.
The 1-1. Into left field, sliding catch by Aaron Hicks. What a way to finish off the 7th inning. Torreyes leading off the inning with a chopper and a pick by Petit on top of the line, and it is not in time. What a ball game for Ronald Torreyes. His first career 4-hit night. This has been remarkable. A double, his first career home run, and a couple of singles.
And this ball down the line. Petit gets down there, just pops out of his glove. Torreyes too fast, gets down to first. Interesting to see how they score this. They give him a hit.
'15th hit tonight for the Yankees.
It's a hit.
Ellsbury chopping over to Pennington. Simmons out of first, not in time.
Nice job by Pennington, recognizing that Torreyes had to hold up, wait for the ball to get past him, therefore allowing Pennington some time to get the ball to Simmons. See, watch, he slows up to let that ball get in front of him. Pennington recognizes that, able to make the throw to second.
One out, one on, top of the 8th. Here is Didi Gregorius. A home run and a ground rule double tonight. Eric, we were just talking about hitting in various spots in the order, and you mentioned that you preferred to be in one of 2 different spots, 4 or 5. Was that because of how you went about, well, your overall approach in those positions?
It's the approach, and also becoming familiar with the guys that are hitting around you, what they're capable of doing. Well, obviously, it'll impact your approach. And when you're hitting, you know, say for instance you've got a power hitter behind you, and you know maybe the first base is open. You know that they're going to go after you. You know, now if you've got a weaker hitter behind you, then you know maybe they'll pitch at you. You have to recognize all those things, and You know, it definitely plays a part in every at bat you have.
Foul ball. Nick Lentz, home plate umpire, making the call.
Look, as a young player, you don't care where you hit the lineup. You just want to get in that lineup, and you're just trying to get hits. Every at bat, you are just battling to try and survive. You know, those first couple of years, you're trying to prove that you belong in the big leagues, and it's just, I'm getting down to first or second somehow. It doesn't matter if you're hitting eighth or first.
Right in line with Mike Trout. 2 down. Ellsbury back to first base. Nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's new daily sports talk show. Speak for yourself. Weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
7 p.m. Eastern is what? Whip around, MLB whip around. You get all the highlights. Get some, every once in a while, you get some dance move by Dontrell Willis and Frank Thomas.
Who's better?
Frank's better. Just because anytime a man that's 300 pounds moving around, that's he pulls it off. Anyhow, good show to watch during the week. Well, Sanchez looking for his 4th hit. He's been running the bases tonight.
Backhand by Simmons. The short way on to second. A 7-pitch inning by Oberholzer as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Masahiro Tanaka has barely broken a sweat as we play here in Southern California. We begin this 3-game series. Facing Pennington to begin the bottom of the 8th inning in a strike.
Well, you mentioned earlier 1 strikeout away from his 3rd consecutive 8 strikeout, no walk performance. 2 strikes here.
Well, he has been incredibly efficient here tonight. He has just under 90 pitches for the evening and a ton of strikes. The 0-2 to Pennington. Swing and a miss for strikeout number 8. 8 strikeouts, no walks, and no runs in against Tanaka so far tonight.
Well, there's the splitter again. Drop out of the zone. Used it effectively against the left-handed hitters. Cole Calhoun, 2 strikeouts tonight. Pennington, 2 strikeouts. Nick Buss down once.
Facing Jet Bandy. Well, Tanaka certainly has in reach what would be his 5th career complete game. He has thrown anywhere from 110 to 116 pitches in his previous 4. So many times tonight we've seen him get ahead 0-1 with the first pitch, and with his arsenal, that seems like you're just toast at that point.
That's the thing. He's had control of every pitch. You mentioned the efficiency, whether it's the splitter, the breaking ball, the fastball. Moved it around all over the plate. As you mentioned, very efficient getting strike 1. Such a difference, 1-0 versus 0-1 as a hitter.
Just stays alive. Tanaka 1 strikeout away from a season high. The 1-2. Skimming quickly, a fair ball inside first base. Bandy slamming on the brakes. The Angels have picked up hits, as few and far between as that has been. They have all been singles so far.
We mentioned that the 1 ball really driven tonight. Cole Calhoun did it 4th inning. Flew to deep center, but other than that, Mike Trout's hit the ball hard, but it wasn't as if he drove the ball deep in the alleys. Tanaka's just kept the Angel hitters off balance.
The Angels have not had a runner at third base tonight. Ball 1 to Nick Buss. Buss played on really a pretty good college team. He played at USC, as we mentioned earlier. Brad Boxberger was a part of that team. Tommy Malone as well. Former Angel. Grant Green, former 1st-round draft pick of the Oakland A's. One out, 1 on, a ball and a strike to Buss. And now ahead 1-2.
Well, as many times as he's had or been ahead of the left-handed hitters, that out pitch has been the splitter. Right now, ahead of Nick Buss, 1-2.
An opponent's hitting barely 175 against that splitter this year. Tanaka's 1-2.
Buss does a nice job of laying off. We've seen a number of the hitters swing at that pitch and bounces. Again, has that drop out of the zone action.
Bandy at first base after the single into right field. Only 4 hits tonight for the Angels. Meanwhile, the Yankees have hit 4 home runs. Strike 3 called, a season best 9 strikeouts. And number 9 for Tanaka comes with the bat on Buster's shoulder.
Not much you can do with that pitch, especially as a left-handed hitter. It's thrown right at the hip. You give up on it, boom, comes right back over the plate. So many things to have to worry about if you're hitting against Tanaka tonight. That splitter just drops out of the zone. You see that fastball come back over the plate. Yankee power and Tanaka on the mound. That's what it's been tonight.
This has been a deadly duo for the Yankees this evening. Here's Petit. On the first pitch, Hicks stumbling, and now comes ranging in. He can't get there. Bandy goes first to third, and Petit is aboard with 2 outs. Looked like that would end the inning.
Yeah, just a misplay by Hicks out in left field. He goes back, then slips a bit. Joe Girardi, that's enough.
What a performance here tonight for Masahiro Tanaka. 7 2/3, 9 strikeouts. A season best, rather, 9 strikeouts.
And he did it with all of his pitches. He did it with the splitter, he did it with the slider, he did it with the fastball, and then he was able to not only throw those pitches, but be able to command those pitches in, out, up, down. You look at the way the Angels went after with those swings, you can tell they were having a difficult time picking up the ball tonight. That's just dominance right there. No walks, 9 strikeouts.
9th pitcher ever with 3 consecutive starts of at least 8 strikeouts without issuing a walk, and he gives the ball over to Tommy Lane. Lane, 31 years old, his 5th major league season out of St. Louis. Released less than 2 weeks ago by the Red Sox and scooped up by the Yankees just days later. Runners on the corners for the Angels. First time that the Halos have had a runner 90 feet from home tonight. 2-0. For Tanaka, that is now 4 consecutive starts without issuing ball 4.
Look at this last pitch by Tommy Lane. Looks like it cuts the middle part of the plate. See, Fox Tracks has it over the inside part.
Calhoun, a couple of strikeouts and a deep warning track out to Ellsbury in center field. Lane quickly falls behind 3-1.
Oh, we haven't seen a walk all night by the Yankees, and Ronnie Lane come right in that first hitter. One pitch away.
2 outs, 2 on. Bandy at third base after a single. Petit at first. He singled as well on a ball that looked like for sure would send this game to the 9th inning.
There's 2 runners out there. Tanaka's.
First walk of the game by an Angels hitter. The stroll by Girardi. Nobody walked when Tanaka was out there, as Lane has done after facing one man. Seven nothing Yankees as the Angels are threatening for the first time as they've dipped into the Yankees bullpen here in the 8th. Tanaka 7 2/3. No walks, 9 strikeouts. Lane faces one man. That was Calhoun. He walked him. And here's Anamoran, who has returned to the Yankees.
Yeah, he's been great until his last outing. Only a third of an inning, 4 earned runs, but prior to that, had not given up a run for the Yankees.
That was a tough one on Tuesday versus the Blue Jays. Runners all around. And first pitch strike to Trout. The last guy you want to face with the bases loaded. He's got 2 hits so far tonight. Warren originally drafted by the Yankees out of North Carolina back in 2009, then traded to the Cubs. Part of the Starlin Castro deal, coming back from Chicago in the Chapman deal. And he has inherited a mess here in the 8th. Missing badly, 2-1. since Tanaka left the game, Yankees pitchers have thrown, well, now 6 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the crazy thing is, one swing of the bat, we got ourselves a ball game.
Trout checks the swing. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The 3-1, a full count.
Talk about respect right there. 3-1 off-speed pitch out of the zone. He doesn't care if he walks him.
Tanaka, a spectator just like the rest of us. Bags packed, 2 outs. Strike 3 called to Trout. The bases are left loaded. Adam Warren puts out the Flames. To end the bottom of the 8th inning. Striking out Trout, looking, leaving the bases loaded. We start at the top of the 9th with Brian McCann at the plate, Oberholzer, and some long relief here tonight.
He's done a nice job coming into this inning. 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs.
Really the first batter of this game. Some foreshadowing the rest of the night. Ellsbury, a leadoff home run on just the 3rd pitch of the night. Overall 4 home runs by the Yankees, all 4 solo shots, 3 of them coming in the 5th inning. Simmons, Pennington, and it's Simmons to make the 2-hand catch. Let's go back to the final pitch of the last of the 8th of the bases loaded to Trout.
Well, he's throwing him an off-speed pitch, 3-1. This just a fastball in the inner half of the plate, freezes Mike Trout. He knows. A heck of a pitch by Adam Warren. Yeah, Tanaka. He's fired up.
Castro looks at a strike. Well, Joe Girardi had Betances warming up at the tail end of that inning.
Well, and rightfully so. Trout hits the ball out of the park. It's a 7-4 ball game.
0-2 to Castro.
Again, and as much as it seemed lopsided tonight, where the Yankees, and it is, it's 7-0, but we were one swing away from having it be a 7-4 ball game.
Well, Eric, it sounds like, based on our conversations over the first 8 innings of this game, as they pertain to the Yankees hitters, you have been incredibly impressed by the young hitters and their veteran poise, it looks like, at the plate.
Their approach at the plate, especially Sanchez, how they've gone after pitches. Torres, he's had an unbelievable night.
Smoked, and what a snare by Petit. You'll see that again.
I'll tell you what, for a guy that wasn't starting in this ball game, then because of the injury to Escobar, go out and get a glove. And he has been unreal tonight. There have been some balls hit down there, rockets. He did have one error, but wow.
Now the first pitch. Judge, a right out to right center. Calhoun covering some ground to make the catch. We go to the bottom of the ninth. 3 outs left for the Angels, down by 7. Of the 9th inning. The Yankees 7 runs on 15 hits. The Angels had their best chance to get some runs going in the 8th. They left the bases loaded as Kirby Yates has been called on by Joe Girardi to get the final 3 outs. Just recalled from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre on Wednesday. Jason Shreve optioned down to AAA. Have been pitching well for the Rail Riders.
"31 games this year, almost 30 innings, 28 hits. Another one of the guys getting an opportunity.
Pujols to begin the last of the 9th.
Okay, how about that? Come on in and face one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time.
Now Pujols enters tonight 582 career home runs. He was one shy of tying Mark McGwire for 10th on the all-time list. A chop in and out of the glove of Yates. Pujols does not run well. 1 out.
First baseman, number 19, Jeffrey Marte.
Well, Eric, as we kind of wrap up this one here tonight and wrap up this season for the Angels, this has been a devastating season for Anaheim, a season with expectations, but almost countless injuries, especially to the rotation. Richards, Wilson, Heaney, Tropiano. But it seems like if those guys can come back healthy for Mike Scioscia, this is a team that can be right back into it next year.
Well, again, that's a lot of ifs, right? You know, you don't want to go into a season if this, if that, if you know, you can have 1 or 2 of those, but when you've got 7 or 8, you know, that's asking a lot. Now, no doubt that if these guys are healthy and they can produce, sure, this is a competitive club. The pitching needs to be addressed. That goes without saying. Not only the starting staff, but the back end as well.
Shoemaker's been the bright light so far this season.
Yeah, but again, they've got coming into tonight the fewest quality starts in all of baseball, tied with the Diamondbacks. Now, you know, a lot of people say, well, the Dodgers, they're right there too. They don't have many quality starts, which absolutely true, but they've got a tremendous bullpen and an offense that has been able to produce. You know, it's not a formula you want. You're not going to win with not many quality starts.
Dunks into right center field off the bat of Marte with 1 out.
Shortstop, number 2.
Right now, the Angels staff entered tonight with an ERA collectively of .460. If that would be the number when the season ends, it would be the worst ERA for the Angels staff since 2000. Mike Scioscia was in his first year at the helm of the Halos. Angels this year on pace for their worst winning percentage since 1994. 1 out, 1 on for Andrelton Simmons, hitless tonight.
Aaron, I want to tell you, you know, been promoting that whip around
A couple of times. It's been solid.
Well, let me let you know. It's coming on right after we go off air. Ryan Fields, Dontrell Willis, Frank Thomas. Be picking up all of today's highlights right after our ball game here.
This could do it. A high flip. Only 1. Castro had to climb the ladder. Everybody's okay. Do you get something for this endorsement?
I don't. Just trying to
Goodness of your own heart.
introduce people to the great show. Gregorius makes a high flip here. Well, Castro does a nice job of staying on the bag right there. Just has a little trouble getting it out of his glove. You watch Castro extendo, keep the foot on. Nice play.
2 out. Simmons at first on the last hope is Pennington. And it's 0-2. The Yankees have just simply battered the Angels tonight. 15 hits, 4 home runs. 3 of those came in the 5th inning. The Angels had just recently snapped an 11-game losing streak. They had won 2 of their last 3 entering tonight. But their offense, who was red hot back in July, more runs than anybody in baseball. The Angels offense has really sputtered here in August. And it continues to do so here tonight. That's going to be the ball game. Angels shut out. Yankees win 7-0. And I feel like Eric should be reading this. It's time now for MLB Whip Around. Dontrell Willis, Frank Thomas, Ryan Field, the whole gang. They're all coming up, Eric.
I can't wait. I'm going to watch.